Okay, hi. When we were in Tenerife in December, we got an email from Diletta Nicastro, an Italian writer and a journalist who wrote a book, Storie and Legends di Scozia of the Isle of Skye, a volume which is focused on the Isle of Skye. And she asked for an interview. The easiest way I can think of doing this is by video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass these questions over to my wife, and then we'll go through these. This is about the Paleocene meteorite impact on the Isle of Skye that myself and Andy Beard discovered back in 2015. So I'll pass these questions on.
Dear Dr. Drake, I read that you made the discovery with your colleague Dr. Andy Beard during your exploring of volcanic rocks. When did you discover it? How did you discover it? Where is the exact place of the meteorite?
Okay, well, firstly, one of the things I think that's important is that if we zoom in on the screen here, I'll do view slideshow here. This magazine, Geoscientist, is the magazine for the Geological Society of London, and this is the April 2018 edition. So if you punch in Geoscientist and look for April 2018, it's a free download, and what you'll get is that you'll get details of this whole story if there's anything that I'm saying that you're not really understanding. Okay, this discovery came about as a result of my PhD viva, when I was questioned in the viva about whether I was certain that the Isle of Skye hadn't been hit by a meteorite impact. And after that PhD viva, we went back and re-examined our samples, and that's when we started finding these extraterrestrially derived minerals. So you asked about where did we find these rocks on Skye, the meteorite impact rocks. I'm just putting up a map now for you to see. So this is a map of the Isle of Skye, as you're well aware, and on Skye we have 3 meteorite sites so far, well actually 4, but there's the first one that I'm pointing to, which is at a place called Carnock on the Strathhead Peninsula. There's the second one, which is on the road from Broadford to Torrin. There is the third one, which is as you go in by boat into the Culins via Loch Scavaig. There's the third one. And the fourth one is up at a place called Fionn Corrie in the northwest margin of the Culins. And I've forgotten the rest of the question. What was the rest of that first question?
When did you discover it? How did you discover it? Where was the exact place of it? Shall we do it again?
No, it's fine. How did I discover it? I was doing PhD fieldwork research, and I was looking for the oldest volcanic rocks on the Isle of Skye. And these oldest volcanic rocks we thought originally were basalts, but we found a layer beneath the basalts, and this layer is the meteorite impact layer.
2. What is the importance of this discovery for the geology of Skye and of Great Britain?
That's an interesting question. Okay, let me go back on this PowerPoint because Skye belongs to a large volcanic region known as the British Paleogene Igneous Province, and that is part of a much larger area, which I'll show you here, which is known as the North Atlantic Igneous Province, and that stretches from Greenland, Norway, Iceland, Svalbard, and there is the UK, and there is Skye there where the cursor's pointing. So it's part of a very large region. Now the volcanic episode that produced this region was very, very short-lived, maybe only about 6 or 7 million years in duration. And the volcanism is thought to have been produced by a large body of magma which came from the liquid outer core of the Earth at the boundary with the mantle. Here it is, you see, this red one here, which is known as a mantle plume, and this came up and it basically melted pre-existing crust. What's interesting, of course, is what was it that created that mantle plume in the first place? We are suggesting that a meteorite impact on the Isle of Skye acted to drive this volcanism and increase this volcanic episode.
3. I read that one of the minerals, a brown crystal called niobium-rich osbornite, had never been recorded until your discovery. The niobium-rich osbornite was found together with another mineral, vanadium-rich osbornite, previously found in a sample of minerals that were collected as particles in the wake of comet Wild 2. What are the particular value of this mineral?
Well, that's interesting because normally when meteorite impact regions are analysed, the rocks which have been hit by the actual meteorite itself are analysed, and those minerals become shocked. For example, quartz, that can get a series of fracture lines through it. To get examples of the actual meteorite itself is incredibly rare. It's only ever happened before once at the Chicxulub crater. So here I'm pointing to now, this is osbornite, this is part of the actual meteorite itself, and you described the brown mineral. Well, that's the let's just go to a bigger picture. That's the mineral you're talking about. This is the niobium-rich osbornite here. This is the only known example of this, as far as I'm aware, on Earth. This is why it's so incredibly valuable to us. Probably worth quite a lot of money as well, I don't know. It's tiny. I mean, this scale is 50 microns, so this is probably only about 5 microns diameter. But what this allows us to do is it allows us to say without any doubt at all that Skye was hit by a meteorite. So as far as evidence is concerned, it's incredibly important.
Some people collected samples from the area, doing very large damage. You decided to protect the area with a glass to avoid other samples being stolen. What happened there?
Okay, well, after we published this article, I guess inevitably, meteorite collectors are very interested in collecting up the meteorites, and unfortunately the site was commercially exploited, and the newspapers picked up in this, as you said, so it was quite important as far as the press was concerned. So what I'm showing you here is some photographs of the second site. This is a Google Earth image in 2015, and you see that there's lots and lots of loose rock there. This is what it looks like today. It's been machined out, everything has been taken, and that is the only loose material that's left today compared to that in 2015. We were very upset about this because we want to preserve this site for future generations, and in particular we've done some talks on the Isle of Skye for the benefit of the mountain rescue to raise money for them, and also it's very important as far as education and schools are concerned on the Isle of Skye. So these people on the right hand side here, this guy's a representative of the Scottish Government, And these people are the people that croft the area. They look after the land. They're appointed by the government to work this land, and they're very keen indeed on protecting this site. So what's going to happen is here, where I'm pointing, there's going to be armoured glass which is put over this site so nobody can take any more material, and the rest of the site around it is going to be buried. So there'll be glass there, and this will be buried, and you will not be able to collect that rock, because this is right next to a roadside, so people can jump out in their cars and take it quite easily, which we don't want.
How do you promote your discovery? Do you speak to young people about it?
Yes, we've done a lot of talks. I think in the last 12 months we've spoken to about 20 different societies and schools and geological societies and planetary societies, and I think that there is potentially interest with a TV company for a documentary on this coming up in the hopefully not too distant future. And we also have quite a bit more research on the latest aspects of this meteorite discovery that we're going to be publishing in the next 2 or 3 years.
You organised some meeting in Skye. What were they?
That was the meetings that I've just described to you with the Crofters Association to protect these sites. So this is Site 2, which is going to be protected. Site 1, which is more of a remote site in the mountains, that is also going to be protected as well. They're putting signs up around that area that says you are forbidden to collect rocks.
7. What is the future of this discovery?
A bright future, I hope. I hope it will. We will be able to find out where the crater is, if there is a crater, because this area on Skye and elsewhere in the British Paleogene Igneous Province, in some places the basalt lavas are over 1 kilometre thick, so any crater could well have been destroyed as a result of volcanism that came after the impact, and you might not be able to pick up a geophysical signature of that crater. So we don't know that we're ever going to find it, but we're keeping looking, and we do have some ideas at the moment. So we're continuing with our research, and it's going very well.
Lastly, please tell me if you have some anecdotes about this very important discovery. So presumably some funny stories or strong memories from your discovery.
Well, the main one was we found this evidence of this first locality, which I'll show you. Where are we? The very first site, which is this site here at Ancarnock. There's a crack here at the bottom of the basalt, and then we see this area here. This is the recess, so this is the meteorite impact layer beneath this. Well, we found this, and you can see that it's quite a way up towards the outer Culin. There it is there. We found this when we were quite hungover. We'd had quite a heavy night the night before, drinking quite a lot of Scottish whisky, and the following morning we decided, one, to try and get rid of our hangover. This is Andy and myself, and 2, to look at the oldest volcanic rocks on Skye, which are here. We wanted to get beneath those volcanic rocks, and so we were quite hungover, but that's how we found the impact deposits.
Tell about Fionn-Corry as well.
What about Fionn-Corry?
About what happened there hundreds of years ago.
Oh, you're probably aware as well, this is quite interesting. So Fionn Corrie, I haven't got any pictures of this, but Fionn Corrie is
Hang on.
in this area.
Just
here,
bear with. Hang on.
where the little yellow dot is.
Yep.
Now there is a tourist site which is known as the Fairy Pools, fairy as in the wings, and you can probably read about this online. And that was the site of a battleground, I think, in the 17th century between the MacDonalds and the MacLeod clan on Skye. And from what I can remember, the one of the women from the MacDonald clan was married to a MacLeod, and in those times, if the woman didn't become pregnant within 12 months, the clan had the right to say that the marriage was void. And the lady didn't become pregnant in 12 months, so they sent her back to her clan. And I forgot to say, this lady only had one eye, so they sent her back, this one-eyed lady. The story is on a one-eyed horse together with a one-eyed dog, and they were sent back to the clan, MacDonald's, and the MacDonalds got very upset with this, so there was a battle, and there was a battle at Fionn Corrie, which is, say, with the yellow here, and this is one of my PhD research sites, which is, we think there is evidence of meteorite impact up there at the moment. We found some, and this is what we're working on right at the current time. But it was the site of a battle. And the interesting thing is that it always feels very bad up there. It's not a very nice place at all. And there's always seemed to me a bad feeling in the air up there. So there you go. I hope it's useful. Thank you.